Well, this is the beginning of, in terms of a very dear friend of mine long ago, a noble experiment. As you can see, we've got about a 2.5 acre pond here, which is the primary source of water for my irrigation system. Unfortunately, I live at the north end of the pond, and the prevailing wind is out of the south. Thus, all of the crap in the world comes up on my end of the pond. And what's happened is I had to extend the pickup on my well pump about 20 feet to get out to the deep water beyond all the crap. And that exceeded the capacity of the pump to pump. So what I'm endeavoring to do is to change that from a shallow well pump to a deep well jet pump of equivalent horsepower. The old pump was 1 horsepower, a Gould. Nice pump, works great. Just can't pull the water. I guess it's about 125 feet from the pickup to where the pump head used to be. So we're going to replace it with a deep well pump and see what happens. I'll try to give you a step by step and blow by blow of what happens here. So this is how I determined that the pump was still operable. I just moved it 45 feet closer to the water source. Got a jury rig hookup here, pickup, and just running hoses out the spigot. It works fine. So what I'm going to do is cut that pipe out, and I'll show you my old pickup. I'll show you my new pickup here in a second. Well, this is the first component on the circuit, if you will. This is a 1 horsepower deep well pump, and I built a little cradle, keep it up off the bottom, keep it out of the sediment and whatnot. And this doesn't correspond to the manufacturer's suggested mounting procedure, but I don't believe half of what I read and none of what I hear. So I got to try it to see if it works. And we may change the whole world in terms of lawn irrigation systems. The key factor in all my research was it's easier to push water than it is to pull water. So these deep well pumps are exactly what they say. They're designed to extract water from wells that are 200, 300, 400 feet deep, if not deeper. This is like I said, a 1 horsepower. There's plenty of other models out there, but based on the specs, this thing's supposed to deliver something in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 gallons per minute, which is enough to accommodate the sprinkler heads on each one of my zones, which are about 85 feet from the distribution point. I'll show you that in a minute. Well, this is what the suction line looked like. Got a little 18-inch, 24-inch filter on the end. A little elevation to keep it up off the ground. Some skids. And it's got a check valve in there, and I'm going to cheat. The pump's got a check valve in it, but I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and use it. Figure 1 check valve good, 2's better. So anyway, that we're going to do a little PVC work right here, right now, and then we get into electrical. Well, this is the beauty of time-lapse photography. There's no way of telling how much time lapse between the last picture and this one. Anyway, we got the PVC joint, got my check valve in, the old check valve in there, and the next thing is to do the electrical splice. This looks a little suspect. Evidently the wiring standard in China isn't consistent with that of US, because that's somewhere between 18 and 22 gauge wire for a 1 horsepower 220 application. So I don't know, we're gonna wire it up just the way he said, see what happens. The first thing to do is to put the big shrink wrap sleeve on there way down, because that's the last thing you're going to heat shrink. You're going to put butt connectors on these wires and the supply line wires, which are 12-2, which is what the good old USA calls for. Anyway, we'll wait for MS, max smoke. Well, I got the butt connectors on, got the shrink tube on, got it married up. So now I'm ready to move the big sleeve up, make a protective coupling over the top of that. If I had a video assistant, they could hold the camera while I do the work, but that ain't in the plan for today. Well, I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens here. Supposed to start in the middle and work your way out to the end. I think I need a blowtorch. Oh, it's beginning to shrink up a little bit. Well, I think you get the idea. I'll show you what the finished product looks like in a minute. Okay, I'm ready to go on the electrical here. Got my supply line tied into the pump. I'm going to tie this off with tie wraps about every 4 or 8 feet. This is what the shrink wrap looked like when it finished up. I'm really not too pleased with that. I'm going to supplement it with another layer of tape. But anyway, that's what I did, what the manufacturer said. So we're going to run the rest of the line down there, and then I'll be ready to take it out in the water. Eureka! Test firing the well. Got well pumping. Looks like a nice flow of water coming out of there. I don't know if it's 35 gallons per minute, but it looks good. So the next job will be to marry the supply line back up to the irrigation line. So I get my wetsuit back on, jump down and do a little piece PVC work, and then I gotta find me a Georgia drag line, come in here and bury this cable to specifications, so everything is legal. But we're pumping water, so everything seems to be good to this point. Eureka! I have sprinkler systems. I am irrigating everything in the vicinity. Looking good. Much more pressure than I ever had before. Much more coverage. Couldn't be happier. Looking good. This is zone number 1 of 3. Again, it's about 85 feet from the distribution manifold. So, and give this a well-deserved drink. It needs it. We're running on about 92, 93 degrees. I don't know what the humidity is, but it's hot and it's dry. So, this is good. Well, this is zone number 2 that has got the 4 gallon per minute sprinkler heads, and it is pumping out water like you would not believe. So I'm more than pleased with what's going on here. This has got 2 big sprinkler heads and a couple of small nozzles up next to the house. Another one over here. That one back there is like a 1 gallon per minute jobby-do, but these bad boys here are shooting it out. I got to make an adjustment on it because it's spraying the windows. Well pleased.